Welcome to Eccentric Nature! Happy St. Paddy's Day! Let's change the scenery. It's St. Paddy's Day! Woo! Howdy, neighbors! What? Are you drinking tea wrong? Oh my gosh! Let's find out. Let's talk about how to drink tea. I'm going to be doing a shorter live stream today, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be getting right into it today. I have a couple things I wanted to cover. One is like I've kind of covered before, which is, teas not to drink. And the other one is just more talking about, how to drink tea. Because I'd watched the TV show, which I loved, Ted Lasso recently. And he hates tea in the show, okay? Well, just basically that's what I'll say. Is like he goes and tries it a couple times and like, I hate this. And it's like, well, you hate that tea. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is like, much like wine or much like any lots of different alcohols or other things that you drink, some people like Pepsi, some people like Coke, however you want to put it, whatever drink is your preference, there is a tea out there for you. I mean, if you just like fruity drinks, there are a lot of fruity teas that would be perfect for you. If you like, earthy, darker ones, there's lots of those too. If you like a lighter, refreshing one, there's that too. So it's like there's lots of different types of teas out there that could be perfect for you. So are you drinking tea wrong? Or if you say that you don't like tea, I'm going to argue that you probably might like a different kind of tea. Because especially over here, if like Americans get exposed to British teas, they're generally getting exposed to their generic English breakfast tea. And I gotta say myself personally, when it comes to the generic English breakfast teas, I'm not a fan. I mean, I will drink some, yes, I will drink some of those English breakfast teas, especially if I'm forced to, but most of the basic brands over here, the PG Tips, the Yorkshire blend, all the basic ones you'll find on the shelves that are the generic English breakfast tea. I am not a huge fan of that. I like a good loose leaf English breakfast tea maybe that's, a little more refined. But really at the end of the day, you gotta be careful about, when you're saying that if you've given a tea a shot once or you don't like a tea, it's like maybe if you had it as a bag tea, there's certain teas in America that come as bag teas that have sugar already in them. So it's changing the effect of that tea in particular. Or just because if you have it as a bag tea, it may just be dust and fannings and the remnants of a tea. And if you try it as a loose leaf, it's going to taste a lot different. That's why I go back to the wine comparison. Because if you have wine in just a generic old glass, if I had wine in this, it would not taste nearly the same as a actual wine glass, like a Riedel glass that's actually designed. They have different types of glasses for each different type of wine. And that's much the same. And it's actually the same when it comes to tea too. If you have tea out of a porcelain cup or have it out of a glass cup, depending on the type of cup you're using, it can change the way the tea tastes. My wife will definitely advocate for that. She only likes to use certain kinds of teacups because they definitely do change the flavor. There is a science behind it. The type of surface that you're using, the way that it actually affects the tea, changes the flavor. So you have to take those things into account. And yeah, I'm launching right into it today, baby. You guys getting my drift? Let me know in the comments. Have you tried a tea before and then went back and tried it later and went, oh, I like that now. That's a good tea. Just let me know in the comments what you guys think. I got somebody who's a big advocate of hemp tea. I assume they've seen my hemp tea videos. If you haven't, go check them out. I'm definitely an advocate of hemp tea or CBD tea. They're a little bit different because it's depending on how you're making them. But I have a video about that too, the difference between hemp and CBD tea. And when we're talking hemp tea or CBD tea, it's much different because neither one of them have THC. It's not a marijuana tea. A marijuana tea would be a different type of tea. Those are three different teas. A CBD tea, a hemp tea, and a marijuana tea are actually three teas. Keep that in mind. So, yeah. All different kinds of teas you can drink, Now, when it comes to actually don't drink a tea, that becomes a little bit more obvious because there's like lists you can find online of safe and poisonous plants, and generally, you know, there are fine lines with certain ones. There's obviously ones you're not going to want to touch at all. Like, you're not going to want to touch nightshade. You're not going to want to touch hemlock. You know, the ones that are definitely poisonous and nobody should come within 10 feet of, you know? Excuse me. But there are other ones that are a little bit more on the fence. And those are some of the ones I really wanted to talk about today. One of the first ones is this bad boy right here. This is Comfrey. So if you haven't come across this before, Comfrey actually can be good for a lot of things, and a lot of people love Comfrey to eat it for one with some things, or to have it as a tea. And you know, people say that it's really good for healing wounds and bruises and, you know, different things. They're really good for inflammation, possibly good also for other digestive issues. But there's also this big level that says that it can be a very big risk for the liver and possibly even lung damage. And it shouldn't be taken by the mouth, they say. So it's definitely one that they say, you can't have it that way. But there's shops that sell Comfrey tea. So it is something that you can have that way. And it comes back down to the amount of it you're having, all right? So if you're having a tea in one of these forms, tea is generally always easier to do in this sense because tea is usually a lower concentration of the herb. If you're having it as a supplement, you're generally getting a higher concentration. But even with that, that isn't necessarily the case because, again, it comes down to the biochemistry of it. Tea releases different things in different ways than you will get it as if you have it in the pill form, if you have it as an aromatherapy, if you have it as something that you just eat. Each one of those things is going to release it into your bloodstream a different way. And so with different things like poppy seed tea, which is another one I've talked about on this channel, if you have poppy seed tea as compared to just eating poppy seeds, poppy seed tea can really help certain people with pain a lot, but it can also get other people addicted to it because it is, you know, the base of an opiate. So, I mean, these are things you can actually have. You can actually have Comfrey tea, but if you're going to do it, you just got to be really careful about it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful with it. Just looking back at the comments and someone says, don't drink what? Well, if you're not on the live stream or you're not coming back to watch the live stream and repeat, you're not going to know, are you? That's why I have to be watching the stream. So let's hit another one here. The next one I want to talk about is this lovely flower here, which is St. John's Wort. And St. John's Wort has actually gotten a big reputation, I think, over the last few years as to just actually how good it can be with a lot of people. People use it for a lot of various reasons. I personally, one of the main ones, of course, is depression that people use it for. People also use it for other main. That's one of the other main ones. I think is pain. But I'm gonna bring my notes back up here so I'm not waffling. But there's lots of different studies that talk about it with depression now, and also talk about it with pain. Also treating actual injuries like wounds and bruises and burns. But it's still officially not approved by the FDA as used for depression or other medical conditions. They say it needs more studies, but there was a 2016 review, which is like 6 years ago, of 35 different studies on depression. So I'm not sure exactly how many studies they need for this thing. There are obviously, you know, a good amount of studies compared to other herbs that are out there. And I wouldn't be, you know, if it's something that you need some further help with depression or these other things, this is definitely one you can consider. One of the reasons I say that it is bad in this respect is that St. John's wort, like many other herbs, can affect other medications you may try and take. So if you're already on a medication for depression, the St. John's wort can affect that medication, or the two can Ooh, excuse me, I'm suddenly getting myself off here. They can, maybe it's because I'm talking too fast. Am I talking too fast? I think it's because I'm trying to shove so much information in a short time, because I got to get off the live stream so my wife can do some work today. So I got a limited time. I got to get you all this information very quickly. But the so where was I? With the St. John's wort, it's if various heart medications, ones for heart disease, HIV, cancer. They've talked about how it can reduce the effectiveness of Xanax, another anxiety medication. So there are lots of different studies out there talking about how it can be harmful for those things. But I think it really comes down to the fact that one is volume of how much you're having of it. The general guidelines I always stick to with any tea is no more than 3 cups per day. And when I say 3 cups, it's, this is not a cup, it's an actual cup. So, so that's only so many ounces if you're just taking a standard cup. How many ounces is in a standard cup? I'm not remembering at the moment. But if I'm going to be having tea of any, generally I'm mixing my teas every day anyways, so I'm never going to meet the actual guidelines of it unless I'm taking it as a supplement. I try and just hit lots of different ones and, get it all, get a little bit here and there just to try and get some into my system. Because there's so many good ones and it's impossible to try and have them all every day. You know what I mean? There's so many out there. And you can't just have them all so easily. So yeah, I will always kind of flip between teas. am and always have been a huge fan of peppermint. It's one of my old favorites, and I still go back to that. If I'm not sure what tea I want to drink, I generally will have peppermint by itself, or I have peppermint and lavender, or peppermint and nettle, or peppermint and a couple other ones in there as well, ginger maybe. So it tends to be my base that I go back to because it really blends well with lots of different herbs as well. So again, that's something I know. It's particular tastes. Lemon balm, I'm not a huge fan of having lemon balm, but someone commented on my channel just the other day being like, oh, I love just a good straight lemon balm tea. And I'm like, hey, more power to you. So I said on my bay leaf tea video that has brought a lot of people to my channel. Thank you, people. Love you. But I said on that one that I don't think it's all that exciting or all that great by itself. But some people have also said to me in the comments with that saying, no, I love it by itself. It's great. So you have to just keep experimenting. If you haven't found, a tea that just makes you go gaga and you have your toes curl. There you go. Toes curl. He dared to kill a king's deer. I'm going back to Robin Hood Men in Tights there. Good old Robert Rees. But there are plenty of other herbs that are maybe great to your particular taste buds and other ones that aren't. So keep experimenting, people. Always try out different ones. If you haven't tried one out yet, if I bring out a new herb on the channel and say, stinging nettle tea, go try it. Give it a shot because it may be your jam. You may love it. Like I said in my one, I got a blend from Morgan's Tea Company from here in England. So if you want a good stinging nettle and fennel, they make a great blend of stinging nettle and fennel. It's very simple. You can probably make it yourself, but if you want to just buy it, go to Morgan's Tea Company. It should be like Morgan's Tea Company, something like that, .com, or if you just put them in a search engine, you should be able to find them if you're here in England. Otherwise, it's very easy just to get the two together. You can it's one of those ones with most herbs, you're not going to actually use like the herbs you use that are set up for spices. But when it comes to seeds, you can do that. So if I get fennel and like just a little thing that I would get in the herb and spices section at the store, you actually can use that fennel for a tea. I wouldn't generally, but the opposite is not true. Don't drink. This is one that you definitely don't want to drink. Don't drink any of those spices that are in those little canisters that are meant to actually be sprinkled on your food or added into a sauce or something like that. Those are not made for tea drinking whatsoever. Don't do it. Trust me. Here's another one. Cilantro or coriander tea. I hate them. I really don't like the taste of it. I love coriander and I love cilantro when I actually have it on my food. I'll have tons of it. I mean, they say, oh, just sprinkle a little bit on here, and I will take like bushels of it, like handfuls, like this big of cilantro, and be like, boom, yes, and just eat it up. I love that much that cilantro. I'll have a ton of it. But when it comes to a tea, I won't touch it. I hate it. It sucks. But that's me. You may very well love it that way. And then, maybe you're one of those people who thinks it tastes like soap in the first place. And I don't know. But, yeah, like it's all depends, Oh, it's good to see BM here finally. Does chamomile tea affect your cognitive abilities? Depends on you, of course, but there are studies out there that say chamomile tea can help you with various things like anxiety, depression, stress. So it definitely affects your cognitive abilities in that sense. It is definitely a calming tea, and it is definitely a relaxing tea. So it definitely affects your cognitive abilities. It can also help with sleep. But when it comes down to it, it's not necessarily one that's you're gonna drink it and go, oh, and suddenly just be sleeping. You can have it in the middle of the day and end up being just fine for the rest of the day and still be moving on. You know what I mean? But it can actually help you just relax enough to get to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a good one for de-stressing and relaxing, and for those who may have some kind of anxiety or depression. Depending on your personal biochemistry, it may affect you better than others. Again, it always comes down to you personally. Some people may have a chamomile tea and go, I feel nothing. Some people may have it and go, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever had. Give me more. I'm going to have this every day the rest of my life. So if you haven't tried it yet, please do. I do love a good chamomile tea myself as well. It's great. I love it. Good to see Desmond Donders. Desmond Donders apparently agrees. He loves a good chamomile tea for de-stressing. There you go. BM is currently having some peppermint. Woo, go peppermint. Right on. So let's talk another one that I wanted to talk about today. And this is definitely another controversial one. This is Kava Kava. Now, if you've watched any of my top 10 lists, I mentioned Kava Kava in a couple of them. Because Kava Kava is good for pain relief, anxiety, and lots of different things that they say it's supposedly good for. I'm going to change the music because I don't like having background music that actually has words in it. I just like good, fun, background fun music. I'm going with the Irish playlist today since it's St. Paddy's Day. But let's get back to Kava Kava. So this one comes from the islands, and it's supposed to, like I said, help with anxiety in particular. It's supposed to aid with sleep, just like chamomile. And you can definitely have it as a tea. The problem is that the side effects is that lots of different people have reported cases of liver toxicity. The problem is that a lot of times when it comes to these things, people generally have had it in a different form other than tea. I am a strong advocate of the fact that tea if you're having a side effect, the second you stop having the tea, it's going to be a short-term side effect. So any side effects you might have aren't going to be long-term causing damage unless you're having it excessively over and over again over a long period of time. That's when tea can possibly cause further side effects in certain people. But as far as kava kava is concerned, it's definitely one of those ones that you just say take it in moderation, because even though it's been banned in certain countries and other people have lifted it because there's just poor evidence of these related risks. Because like Germany actually lifted the ban on kava kava because they said, hey, there's not enough actual research out there that says this is a definite thing. It's going to cause liver damage with people. And I think it just comes down again to A, how much people are taking it, B, how you're taking it. Those are the two main factors that are going to affect if something's going to cause you a side effect with a tea, okay? So when it comes down to, if you should not drink a tea or not, I think you should be looking at those factors. One, have you tried it? What forms have you tried it in? Is it something that you've tried before? If with other things in there as well? If you've tried it by yourself, maybe you should try it with other things, because I find certain herbs that are good as just a secondary flavor that actually add a certain level of depth and interest to a tea. But there's other ones that kind of just disappear when you have them with other ones, which is fine. If you just want it there for the medicinal benefits, you can do that too. Let's go back to the comments, because I know I'm just rambling a little bit here. I don't see any... or is there anything else you're wondering about having tea in general like this? If you should not drink certain teas. In the actual photo, I showed a photo of like a marijuana leaf in the tea, for saying don't drink this, which isn't necessarily the case. This again, it's a matter of you. Some people can't have marijuana because it really messes with their personal biochemistry. Some people can't even have hemp because it messes with their biochemistry. But again, you won't know that until either you've already figured out through other means or you actually have the tea yourself. Okay? And unless you're talking it's hemlock or nightshade or any one of those other severely poisonous plants out there, like castor beans or... what was the other ones I was just thinking of? English yew or holly even. Being over here in the UK, I'm thinking of the more UK-oriented ones. So if any of those are the ones that you're having at the outset, yeah, it's going to cause you some trouble because those are ones that are on the no-fly list from the beginning. As far as all these other ones that have health benefits to them, there's lots of just this. There's the scales of judgment. Some saying yes, some saying no. And until you try it for yourself, you're not going to know exactly what it does to you or if it's going to be great for you. So I say, if you have tried lots of other things and they haven't helped you, it doesn't hurt to give it a shot. If you know it's on that list that you can actually try it. Okay? So kava kava. St. John's wort, poppy seed tea, hemp tea, what was the other guy I already mentioned today? My list is not working here, sir. Kava kava ginger, Comfrey tea. Yeah, all these guys. If you have not tried any of them yet, give it a shot. It may do wonders for your system. Some people with certain teas... there's certain teas I have and I will have an instant effect like, ooh, that just goes right into me and boom, I feel better, but then there's other teas where they say, oh, it's supposed to be good for this. I'm like, I don't see it. And if that's the case, sometimes it's longevity. Certain teas, it's not going to be an immediate effect, okay? Certain teas take a long time to get into your system, all right? So be prepared for that too. If you want to get the medicinal benefits, if that's the main reason you're out there drinking these teas, then feel free, take your time, baby, and just keep adding some into your tea every day, even if it's not the primary flavor, and just keep tracking your progress over that specific symptom that you're having it for, and see if it improves over time. With a lot of the major ones, like Kava Kava, and there's another one I'm forgetting off the top of my head that they say you don't want to have it for more than 3 months or 6 months consecutively. Like ashwagandha, with a lot of people, ashwagandha can just over-sensitize their system. So if you have ashwagandha for too many days in a row, they say sometimes it's best just to give it a little bit of time off. And that might just mean, give it a week off or give it a month off and then go back to it again. And the effects might come back, might get better for you. So just look at something like that as well. You may have to just avoid it for a short time and then come back to it. So yeah, when it comes to tea, there's lots of different factors. But when I say don't drink this, or I say are you drinking tea wrong, I think it's just a matter of looking for your own personal preferences and what works for you. Because there is a tea out there for everybody, much like there is a wine out there for everybody, or much like there is a particular soft drink out there for everybody, or a particular beverage out there for everybody. Whatever it is, there is probably a tea that will match you. There are so many different herbs. There are so many different types of tea. You got your black, you got your white, you got your green teas. So if you've tried nothing but black tea in your life, go give some of that matcha or the green tea a try. If you've tried both of those, white tea is completely different. You can give that a shot too. Flyboy says, apparently Brits like milk in their tea. Well, milk, not only do they like milk in their tea, some do, some don't. And it's actually a matter of, there is a huge debate. If you ask a Brit this will definitely come up on the scale. There is a difference between adding the milk before or after. This is a huge debate, and it will never stop. I'm sure hundreds of years from now, people will be saying, no, you had the milk before. No, you had the milk after. I always do mine after, but there's lots of advocates out there saying you had the milk before. So, yeah, there are different ones for each one. So, like I said, this is going to be a short live stream today. I am going to have to cut off here very soon. Next week, before I go, next Thursday is going to be my next video. It is the benefits of blue pea or butterfly pea flower tea. So go check that out. It's going to be awesome. Lots of wonderful benefits to that one. And if you haven't seen it yet, please do go back and watch my tea video from last week, which is the benefits of stinging nettle tea. Or go back and watch one of my other videos. I would really appreciate that too. Just watching any of my videos, I am always appreciative. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all you new people who have subscribed to me. Each and every one of you means tons to me. Each and every one of the comments you leave means tons to me. Every one of you here, BM, Desmond Donders, Flyboy, thank you so much for being in my chat today. I love it when I see you guys here. So, hate the eyes. Woo, good to see you too. But yeah, I have to get going now. My wife needs to take over and have the room here. So you guys take care. Go out there, explore some teas, enjoy yourselves. Until next time, take care of each other and have some great tea. See you later. Which I'm going to have to now extend because I didn't actually have my hand on the button to end the live stream. Here we go. See you later.